You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, let's roll. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Jab Journals. I'm your host, Dan Smith. I'm sitting here in Dark Side Boxing Gym. I'm here with Coach Marvin Hagler, middleweight prospect Josiah Shackleford, and one of Joe's managers, Dom. Thanks everybody for joining us today. Obviously, Josiah, coming off a big fight, Little Caesars Arena against Gordy Russ, another local prospect. How do you feel coming off that win?
I feel really good, man. Thank you to Detroit for coming out, supporting the fight, man. Big shout out to Dimitri, Salita, man, for having me on the show, man. But I feel amazing about the turnout of the fight, and thankful that my opponent, which was Gordy Russ, put up an amazing fight like that, man. He pushed me to the limit, and I'm just thankful to God that he allowed me to come out victorious in that fight.
Yeah, to go from a swing bout to possibly the fight of the night, I don't think anyone can argue that. That was a great fight. What's it like in the back, not knowing when you're going to fight, if you're going to fight, and then having to perform the way that you did? What was going through your mind back there?
And just pretty much just staying ready, man. Man, we in the gym all the time, man, and we work hard. So Coach Mo, he's making sure he was getting me prepped up for the fight. He wasn't prepping me too hard and too early, and he just makes sure I stay warm. So the minute we get that call to come out, we already warm and ready to go. So, it's about just pretty much just staying loose back there in the back, but not overdoing it because, I'm going 6 rounds now.
Right.
That was my second fight going 6 rounds. So just making sure I just stay loose and stay warm and ready to go for it whenever they call me.
Yeah. And now, Coach, obviously you know Joe, you know what he needs before a fight. You've been working with him for a long time, and I'm sure you've been in those situations before with having a swing bout. So, what do you like to do with your fighter, during that to kind of keep him loose, keep him warm?
Yeah, the thing is, I hate swing bouts. Like you say, you don't know when you're gonna go on. When you go on early, or you go on after the main event.
Yeah.
You never know. So, like he said, just keep him loose, keep him all warmed up. I like for him to have a sweat all the time in the locker room, so he's. Like when we do go out there, and when they call us, we're ready.
Yeah.
We're ready.
Now, Dom, being Joe's manager, you've been with him since the beginning of his career. You guys have obviously known each other for a very long time. What were you thinking, leading up to that fight, the biggest fight of his career at this point?
Fight?
Yeah, the fight with Gordy with Joe.
I was so confident, wasn't no doubt in my mind we was coming out victorious. And, I'm ready for the next, that's my mindset.
Right. Now, I think it's, I think it was pretty obvious leading up that you were the underdog in that fight. A lot of people locally were counting you out. But you were coming off a loss too. You traveled to Florida, came off a loss to perform on the biggest stage of your career, I would assume. Would you agree with that?
Biggest stage.
What do you attribute that mindset to stay positive and to stay, keep that hard-working mentality going?
Man, at the end of the day, man, I'm a fighter. Man, I'm willing to take whatever that's gonna come with this sport. I done knocked out a lot of guys. I done dropped a lot of guys in sparring and fights. I done been in a lot of fights, and man, it's just accepting whatever come with it. I'm a man, and being a man and accepting the role that I'm accepting, in fighting, just take everything on the chin and take the win just as good as I take the losses. It's in God's hand.
Yeah,
it's in God's hand, and just keep working.
I'd like to add something. to that.
Coach, go ahead.
After that fight in Florida, which it was closer than what people thought, I thought. But after he lost, on the way back to our room, Joe says, "Coach, I'm going to go run 3 miles," and he went and ran 3 miles.
Yeah.
That same night, and that's his mindset.
Right.
He's a fighter. He's ready to go at all times, and that's what makes Joe Joe.
Right. Now, as a coach, sometimes coming off a loss, you don't want to, depending on the fighter, right? You might not want to throw him on a big stage like Little Caesars Arena gets another prospect, if you will. But you had all the faith in the world in Joe, and obviously that show.
He had too much faith. He had a lot of faith, and I was thankful.
No, 100%. I did. I knew. Joe was fighting a lot tougher opponents than Gordy fought. 100%. And I knew Gordy hasn't fought in a year.
Yeah.
And I knew what to do. We had a good game plan, and he stuck to it to a T, and he did a great job doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. Dom, being his manager, seeing, correct me if I'm wrong, this was your 5th fight this year, or 4th or 5th fight?
Yep.
Yeah.
Six.
Six
My
fights.
sixth fight.
Sixth fight this year.
Yeah.
Wow. So I mean, and you know, you've won some, you've lost some. You know, Dom, how do you keep finding the right opponents for Joe moving forward in his career?
Well, before, and like it's going to be moving forward, this is a team thing. So we all, as a team, sit down. Most of it is Coach Mo getting these opportunities, and we sit as a team and decide, you know, are we going to take this fight or not? Now, we already had a game plan last year when he turned pro. We wanted close to 10 fights by the end of this year. So everything's been going to plan, and, you know, I'm just thankful to have both of these guys, you know, as a team partners.
Right. Now, you know, before we get into how you got into boxing, you know, I think you guys are sticking true to that. You know, 10 fights by the end of the year. You got another fight in Kentucky,
Yes,
right?
sir.
September 7th. Another fight back home here, probably in October. You said.
Yeah.
You know, what's the mindset behind it? Why so many fights in such a short amount of time? What's your mindset behind that?
So pretty much, man, I'm a fighter, man. I love to fight, man. A lot of people don't know it, but I'm always in the gym. You know, whether it's on Instagram, whether it's on Facebook, I don't post all the time I'm working out, but this is like literally my therapy, man. This is how I make it through life, honestly.
Right.
The gym. So I'm always in the gym, always training, and I love to fight, man. So so my mindset behind it, the more active I am, the better off I'm going to be.
Right.
You know, and since underground, I fought a lot in underground. When I went to amateur, I fought a whole lot in amateurs, and everybody like, dang, how is he fighting so much? And it's just, I kept making calls, and I kept traveling this city, and the same thing now with the pros. You know, the first thing I told Coach Mo when I was about to get ready to turn pro, am I gonna be able to stay active? And his answer was yes. I'm like, all right, I'm ready.
Right. You know, you touched on something I wanted to get back on, so I'm glad you brought it up. You know, you kind of got into boxing in a unique way. You know, kind of explain how you found boxing. You said the underground, you know, circuit.
Yeah.
How did that kind of fall in your lap?
So what happened was, man, I hit mitts with my nephew. He's my fitness trainer, and he told me I had a strong right hand. He was like, have you ever thought about boxing? I said, no, not really. And then from there, I was on Instagram. I was searching to see how can I get a fight, and there was this guy. He used to his name's Steph. He used to do only hands boxing, and he's doing in his backyard. And he had a little boxing league, and we come strap up with our gloves on, and then we fight. So I hit him up, and my first fight was July 4th, 2021. And from there, once I dropped that guy, and there, I'm like, yeah, that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah. And then, at what point did you link up with Coach Mo here?
Last year, in October.
Oh, so it's pretty new.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fairly like forever, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm about to
really
say
do,
you guys have really
we
good chemistry
clicked-
together.
We
Yeah.
clicked so good. My first time being around Coach Mo was in 2022 when I first won the Golden Gloves. He had two fighters to go to nationals as well. I went to nationals, and he gave me a little pad work and gave me some real good encouraging words. And from that, you know, I was looking for another coach that I feel like was going to take me to the next level, and I thought of Coach Mo. So I had Dollar to reach out to Coach Mo, and when we reached out to Coach Mo, I let my then coach, Coach K9 at that time, I let him know that I was coming to Coach Mo.
Yeah, you're switching. Yeah.
What Coach Mo tell you at Golden Gloves?
He said he can make me a world champion.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
Well, you're well on your way. You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
I'm
With
well on
all
my
these
way.
fights you got under your belt and the fights that you keep scheduling, you know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
You know, getting into it older, you kind of got to stay busy.
Got to, man.
You know, because
Yes,
you,
sir.
you were 27, I believe you said, when you first
27 when I
started.
first started.
Yeah, so I mean, you got to hit the ground running at that
Yes, sir.
point.
Yeah, we really don't have time with Joe like we do with like some of the other fighters. You know, some of the other fighters, they turn pro 18, 19, 20 years old.
Yeah.
And you have time to walk them. Like you said, we got to hit the ground running with Joe, and he's doing a great job at it. You know, biggest thing about Joe is his work ethic. Man, nobody works like him.
Yeah.
He works really hard in the gym, and I believe we keep working on his technique and his style. Get him his own style, and he's going to be very hard to beat. He's going to clip somebody. He's going to clip somebody with a big name, and it's just the stars from here.
Right.
Really.
Now, Coach, you touched on something. We talked off camera about you know fighters that you can you can teach someone how to throw a jab. You can teach someone even how to throw with more power.
Right.
Teach them how to time things. But work ethic is something that is in you or it's not.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, and you think that's what set Joe apart from his opponents there.
His work ethic is phenomenal. Nobody works as hard as Joe. He, like he said, sometimes I got to hold him back. In fact, he gets. I got to call him and I say, "Hey, Joe, it's you're overworking yourself. Let's just relax. Rest for a day." And then he'll come back. And the biggest thing, another big thing, is he listens, and he says, "Thanks, Coach. Thanks for holding me back. I feel better now, and I can do this better." And he understands when I'm telling him something. He understands it's for him and his own good.
Yeah. Now, Joe, we found out how you met Coach. How do you and Dom know each other? How did you guys kind of start a relationship?
We met through Underground, man.
Okay.
So he actually was my boy Theo. So my boy Theo used to fight Underground as well, and Dollar was coming around then. Then he introduced me to Dollar at the end of 2021, but then we started kicking it in January of 2022, and then I had a fight in Texas. Dollar came down there with me, which is crazy, man, because we fought in Texas at 2:00 in the morning Saturday, an Underground fight. We had to drive from Houston, Texas, back to Houston, Texas, to get on it was a 4-hour drive, which I drove. By the way, I drove the whole way because I had to get back down here to Shelby Township. I had an amateur fight. That Saturday, no, the same day, which is Saturday. So we got down there to Denton, Texas on Friday night. Fought down there at 2 a.m. We fought down there at 2 a.m. We had to leave from there to get back to the airport. Then we flew from there back home. Then I had to drive from the airport to my dad's house, pick him up. Then we had to drive 40 minutes because my dad lived on the east side.
Yeah.
Had to drive 40 minutes to Shelby Township to weigh in, then the fight.
Damn.
I think you stopped him too.
Yeah, I stopped him in the second round. Stopped the guy in the second round. But boy, was I tired, man.
Yeah.
I already went in that fight. I gotta stop this guy. I ain't tell him. I ain't tell Coach K9 at the time. I'm in my head like, man, I gotta stop this guy. I'm tired.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. From there, me and Dollar, man, we just clicked, man. And we was always on the phone. We always talking to him, man, and just telling him my plans, man, for real. And man, he turned to a brother of mine.
Yeah.
So a lot of people be thinking that that's really my blood brother.
Yeah.
In reality, he my brother, but not my blood brother.
Yeah. Sometimes, like you said, even with Coach Mo, just some things just click, and it works. And if it settles you down for a fight, then that's the best thing, right? Now, your last fight with Gordy was on a pretty big stage, Little Caesars Arena, but to be on such a big stage in your hometown, like that had to kind of set you or help you at least knowing that you might have friends and family. Did you have a lot of people show up for the fight?
Man, I had a whole bunch of people, but man, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I love fighting in front of people.
Right.
So whether it would have been
don't matter where it's
out
at.
of town, in my hometown, as long as I got these guys right here with me, and I could feed off of them, and I believe that they confident in me.
Yeah.
And that's all I be needing. Cause man, I walk with God. So
Right.
Everybody that's there, they not actually in my camp. They not actually making sure I train. Coach Mo, he know I train.
Yeah.
Dollar know I train. So everybody else, everybody can say, "Oh, Joe, you got this," but they don't know what I've been doing. They don't know if I'm drinking.
Right.
They don't know if I'm smoking weed. They don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So whoever in the crowd, I just like fighting in front of the crowd.
Yeah.
And I'm very thankful for the people that come to my fight. Don't get me wrong on that, but it really don't matter who's actually there.
Right.
As long as I got my team with me.
Yeah. Now, Coach, how hard is it to hold a guy like Josiah back? Like when he wants to train hard like that? Like obviously you don't want to stop somebody, but like you said, you got to keep him healthy.
Like I said, he listens. That's a great thing about him. Even Dom told me one time. I told him we can't spar tomorrow. I don't want you to spar tomorrow. Dom called me up and he says, how'd you get him not to spar? Because that's when he gets his mindset about something, he wants to do it. I told him it's not a good time to spar tomorrow. You sparred today. We don't want to do that. I'm not a big guy on sparring every day. A lot of these fighters are, but I like 2 or 3 times a week at the most. Especially in camp. And the big stage, like he said, he loves it.
Yeah.
He loves it. He loves the crowd. You could tell it. You could feel his energy when he gets in the ring in front of the crowd. And that's something I never had as a fighter. I didn't like it.
Right.
But he does.
Yeah.
And that's you need it. You need it, especially in something like that.
Well, hopefully you keep fighting in front of big crowds like that, feed off the energy. Now, Dom, you said that, you met Joe in his underground days.
Yes,
What
sir.
did you see? You saw his first fight. You didn't know him from Adam before that, right? So, I
Mm-hmm.
mean, what did you see in that fight that made you attached to Joe?
It wasn't the fight. It was after the fight. It was like going to Texas with him.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of jailed there. I seen like, a lot of people got a lot of friends and stuff, but when it's time to grind and train and go here and invest, he didn't really, like, a lot of people not go do that. So that's where we started gelling at. Then once I seen his work ethic, like, I started wanting to work. He got me in the gym. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do nothing. I was just really still trying to figure out my way out, like I still am. But just being around him, his work ethic, that's what got me to, like, man, I'm behind this guy no matter what. And it's like other fighters, other people that be like, hey, man, can you manage me? Can you be my advisor? Can you get me this? But he done set the bar so high, I can't even deal. I can't do it, man. So it's really his work ethic, his mindset, his love. Another thing for his children.
Yeah.
Because that's another thing. I love my daughter, but he got 4, and to see how he able to manage boxing, children, church, schoolwork, like all of that, man, is just amazing to me. Something I never really witnessed with my own eyes.
He makes you want to get behind him.
Yeah. You want to get on this train, like, man, we gotta make each other better.
Right.
It's just that's really what it wasn't even that fight. Because honestly, when he was fighting in, it wasn't nothing. It wasn't nothing to see. But he was knocking guys out. But man, I'm telling you, it was his work ethic, man, his mindset, his confidence. Just all of that, man. He family oriented. It was just all the other things that kind of made us gel together.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you guys are close, but it's a business relationship too. But when you saw him fight his last fight in that big, what were you? Because you saw him from the backyard days to now at Little Caesars Arena. What were you feeling for him?
Man, just proud and happy, man. Like a lot of, like Coach said, a lot of people had him as the underdog. Mm-hmm. But my mind's like I was telling him, bro, he the underdog. I know what he been doing. I know what he capable of, and I can tell when somebody not working like him, and when they don't have the potential and the talent like him. So to me, it was just a proud, like just reassuring me, like, oh yeah, we've been doing what we supposed to do, and like I say, I was so confident. Yeah, I'm proud, happy, but it's like on to the next. What's next for us? Like we hungry for that next big stage, for that next big fight. With a bigger name. Yeah.
Now, Coach, something I wanted to ask you ever since I saw the fight. You go up to all the press conferences and all the media workouts, and you see Jonathan Banks and Tony Harrison are in his corner, and like Coach Mo, you're very well known around Detroit, but I think you would agree that Jonathan Banks and Tony Harrison are world-known names.
Absolutely.
How did it feel for you to coach against that caliber of coaches and come out victorious like that?
In that aspect, I'm kind of like Joe. I like the challenge.
Yeah.
It was a challenge to me, and I'm glad we came out ahead, and to have those guys, like they said on the thing, all-star cast in his corner, that kind of made me feel good. And we did a good job, and you can, let's put it this way. You can have the best riders or jockeys in the world, but you still can't win the Kentucky Derby on a donkey.
Without a good horse,
right?
You need a good horse,
right?
Yeah.
So you need the thing. So I could teach Joe everything I know and whatever, and we can get a perfect game plan. But if he doesn't execute, then it just doesn't work.
Right.
So he executed our game plan to a T. He knew exactly what I wanted. And he went out there and did it, and did a great job.
Now, we touched on that. Joe's been very busy this last year.
Yep.
And fighting in Michigan, Kentucky, Florida, all over the place, and you have to coach him and get him ready for all these fights, all these different opponents. How do you approach every fight, or is it just business as usual in the gym, or do you try to train for different styles?
I try to see. Some guys they don't have anything that you can watch. They just don't at this level. Once we step it up a little bit, we'll be able to watch, and we'll be able to see, and we'll be able to coach him in different ways. But the way Joe fights, that pressure fighter, that's him.
Yeah.
That's him. He's just a pressure fighter, and you just got to go out and execute. When we went down to Florida, I think he was a little tentative. I think he should have fought the fight that he fought against Gordy in Florida, but he was just a little tentative. I don't know what it was. Maybe just the being out there or whatever. But he's a pressure fighter, and he can fight anybody that way.
Yeah.
And you look at it. If he's gonna fight a boxer, he's gonna cut the ring off a little bit more. If he's gonna fight a slugger like that, he stays inside and works inside and then brings it back up on top. And that's just Joe, and it's easy to coach him.
Yeah. Well, the thing with that style is it translates against anybody. I mean,
Absolutely. That's what I'm just saying. Yep.
Yeah. Everybody has like a certain amount of punches they can throw a fight, and if you can throw 100 more than them, you got a good chance at the end of the fight, right?
Absolutely.
Is that kind of like you're meant to just outwork everybody? Is that your mentality going in?
Because like Coach said, man, I don't believe it's not that many fighters that train harder than me.
No.
It's really not, man. So especially a lot of pros, they like to throw onesie twosies, man. A lot of pros don't like a lot of pressure on them.
Right.
And I'm in your face, but I'm also throwing punches while I'm in your face. It's not just I'm not just in your face and just waiting for you to throw something at me. No, I'm in your face and I'm working.
Yeah.
So.
And I think, having those early losses and being able to deal with that in such an early stage in your career, I think it shows a lot to your heart, a lot to your mentality.
Yeah.
Do you kind of think that people underestimate you when they look at your record?
Oh, yeah, because it's boxing, man. That's just the way the boxing world do you, man. Like, it was my first time on DraftKings, man. And to see myself down, like, so much. They had me up plus 800.
Yeah.
And I'm looking like, this guy, he knocked out 6 of his opponents, but anybody could have knocked out them opponents,
Right.
No, and at the end of the day, Gordy is a great fighter.
Yeah.
But the opponents that he had, that he knocked out, that was nothing.
Yeah.
So to have me down plus 800, I understand, you had me down plus 100, plus 50 or something like that, but plus 800, so yeah, so I'm just thankful. So I'm always gonna be underestimated.
Yeah.
Cause of my record right now. And it's just the way the boxing world is,
Yeah.
Mayweather got it like that, and that's why a lot of boxers like to protect their own.
Yeah.
And take that way. Just keep fighting bums. But I'm thankful for the way my team have actually got me moving.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna ask this question to all three of you. I'm kind of interested in your response because it's a hot topic in local boxing. A lot of people don't like to see two young, upcoming Detroit fighters fight each other. How do you guys feel about that? Fighting someone from the same city, and like you said, people are trying to protect their own, but you're all trying to protect your records, right?
Man, I'm kind of mixed about it. Like, I don't know. Like on that, with Joe and Gordy fight, I just feel like, man, like with Joe, like Coach said, we don't have time to be turning down nothing, waiting.
Right.
Even though, we not friends with Gordy, but we from the same city.
Yeah.
We sparred with him before. It's like we didn't want to, but we can't pass our opportunities because we from the same city. Like, where would Joe been right now without that fight? His name wouldn't be where it's at right now without that fight.
Right.
So sometimes I do feel like it gotta happen. Then they both had losses on their record. So I think a lot of that comes from when people want to protect the zero and wait till they get to a bigger, later on down the line to where it's worth money.
Yeah.
Then they want to see it. But to me, like with Joe's situation, man, we had to take it. Nothing personal, it's just business, man.
Absolutely. Yeah, exactly. Joe, like you were saying, Joe's 30 years old.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have time to sit back. That was a big stage.
Yeah.
There's a lot of, in his hometown. I don't think it would have been smart to turn that down.
Yeah.
Especially we got offered a little bit of money, and it was good for him.
Yeah.
It was good for Joe. So.
Now, the way I've always thought about that is like, this isn't a team sport. Like, I love Detroit boxing,
Right.
always have. But if someone's in your way of moving up the rankings to get in that big fight, you got to get them out of the way. It don't matter if they're from around the corner or from across the world.
I mean,
right?
you could see if like he's gonna fight Hossam, we wouldn't do that because they're out of the same gym. The same camp. They're training partners in here. I wouldn't do that. You know, but somebody from the same city, because I mean, like they've fought people from Grand Rapids or Pontiac or something. I mean, what's the difference? You drive a half an hour. You know what I mean? It's not like the end of the world. You fight somebody from Detroit.
Right.
I got a great analogy for that too.
Yeah.
Kind of like basketball. Like LeBron and Draymond, they cool, but when they played in the finals in 2016, hey, they had to take each other's head off. They got to get the gold.
Yeah.
So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. You know, you touched on another one of your fighters, Hassan. You know, Joe, you got a lot of good work locally, right? Hassan's in your camp. You know, I know you're good friends with Jair Thompson, who's just a national Golden Gloves champion. You know, do you kind of feel that iron sharpens iron type of mentality in the gym?
For sure, man. I get great work, man. Even Andre Holmes, you know, I've gotten work with him.
Slick Southpaw, that's a good, that's awesome.
Man.
Yeah.
And, Marlon Harrington, you know, I've got work from him. You know, Joseph Hicks, you know, before he been down to Vegas now, you know, but I've gotten work from them, you know, and so I'm just thankful for the local work that I can get.
Right.
I can't get.
A lot of people don't know that. You know what I mean? Like they don't know who you're working with in the gym, right? So they see your record. They see
Jaden Trudell from Canada.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy too, man. I got work from him too.
Yeah, there's a lot of times throughout boxing history where guys with what people would say bad records, you don't know what gym they're in. Exactly. You know, like for example, a guy that just left here right now, Leonardo Tyner. You know, training with Floyd Mayweather. Everyone looks at his record. He's got over 10 losses, but he's been in there with the best of the world.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? You don't know who that person's training.
He's a legend. You know?
Right.
He's a legend,
local legend. You know, Coach Mo, you worked with a lot of local legends around here. You know, kind of. I would say behind the scenes, you know what I mean? How have you managed to keep such a low profile and have such good fighters?
I'm really not a flashy guy. Like I said, I don't like big crowds. I don't like to, be in front of big crowds like he does. I mean, I think that's something you need to be a world champ. Is like, Hossam loves it. He loves it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, Waleed loves it. Leonardo loves it. They get in the ring and you can just feel their energy expand. I'm not like that. I'm more nervous than these guys are.
Yeah.
In the locker room, I'm more nervous than these guys are.
Yeah.
So, but I love coaching them. I love what they do, and man, one of these guys is gonna be world champion.
Yeah.
Or all of them, hopefully. I think.
And to speak on that too, man, Coach Mo just a very humble guy, and he really loved this sport, and he loved his fighters.
Yeah.
So he really don't care too much about everybody knowing him or everybody looking at him as a great coach and all that.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, he care about his fighter, making sure his fighter's safe, making sure his fighter's actually learning, and that's why I trust Coach so much as well.
I'm just glad that they put their trust in me to teach them and to tell them the right things, and hopefully they're happy with what I'm working with. So
That's definitely
that's the way we do it.
Joe, being in front of big crowds isn't something new to you because, on the side, I don't know, maybe it's your main gig, whatever, boxing's your main gig, but you're also a musician. You play.
Yeah, that's pretty much our main thing into boxing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then we talked about off camera, you grew up with 30 siblings.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
you're used to being around a big crowd, right?
Yeah.
So it's just like, is going in that ring just like fighting for scraps at the table,
exactly.
growing up?
That's a great analogy. That's a great analogy, but yes.
Yeah, and Mo being home, you're a hardworking man, like behind the scenes too, not just with your fighters, but you own your own construction company.
Yes, sir.
You know what I mean? Like, do you kind of take that construction mentality into your coaching also, getting these guys to work hard?
Absolutely. I'm 63 years old. I swing a hammer all day, every day.
Yeah.
And I come into the gym. If I work hard in the gym, I expect them to work hard. And that's the only way to grow, really.
Yeah.
You can't come in here and excuse my language, half-ass anything.
Yeah.
You got to come in here and work 110, 120% every time you come in here.
Yeah.
And that's what I expect out of them. I do. So why don't they?
Yeah. Now, moving forward, so you got a couple fights scheduled for the end of the year. How's training camp going? Where are you kind of at, with everything?
Man, it's going beautiful, man. I'm pretty much at my weight. I try to stay around my weight anyways. First off, I know my coach when he asks me, "Hey Joe, where your weight at?"
Right.
So I pretty much try to stay around my weight and everything. And, been feeling good. Like I said, I'm always working, so my stamina be there. Because I love literally working out. And my favorite thing to do is to run.
Yeah.
You know, I honestly just love running. So, man, camp been going good. And I'm just ready for September 7th to come up, man, because whoever I'm fighting, they got a rude awakening.
Right.
You know.
Now, before we sign off here, you know, do you have anybody you want to shout out, any sponsors or anything like that you
Yes,
want to give
sir,
some
man.
credit to?
Yes, shout out to Pure Grit, Dark Side Promotions, Almighty Promotions. My man's Andrew Griffin, shout out to him. Shout out to Redford Auto Repair.
Mace.
Mace Construction, shout out to Mace Construction. And shout out to the Good Band as well. Thank you all for what y'all do for me. Thank y'all for sponsoring me as well, man. I love y'all. And thank y'all for rocking out with Joe, man. I appreciate that, man. Because them people been rocking out with me through the L's, through the wins, you know, and I appreciate it, man.
Yeah. Dom and Mo, you guys got anything you want to say before we sign off here?
Man, just appreciate you, Dan.
Yes,
Stay
sir.
tuned with Dark Side and Almighty Promotions. We'll see y'all soon.
Yes.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely, guys. Thanks for your time. That does it for this episode of Jab Journal, guys. We'll see you on the next one.